Hello, everyone. I'm just going to do some more payoff pitch PC testing. The new beta mode is out, so going to test some innings in that to let you guys get a look. But more, again, this is just more for testing purposes than anything to show Dana, the developer, what we're looking at, and for him to be able to make sense of the notes that I'm sending him. So let me share my screen and show you and get to it. So I'm testing board game companion mode. I did a before look, and this is kind of an updated look. I'm not going to say the after look because he's not done with it yet. There's still some things for him to work on. Um, but just to show you the options that I'm using, so I am using the board game companion mode, which probably need to show you from the outside. Um, this is what it looks like once you get it set in. These options really don't matter once you're using board game companion mode. So I'm using season ticket baseball to play the 1996 World Series. And after I finish this game, I'll show you the updates. But I do have the AI manager turned on for New York Yankees, and the board game companion mode, Dana has updated it, and he's put out some good documentation to tell us what it does and doesn't do. And basically, what it does, and this is great, is it handles the roster management type of stuff. It does not handle in game decision type of things. So it works great for a game like season ticket baseball, where it has a great auto manager system. So I can just use the auto manager system for the in game decisions. And I'm actually playing the Braves and making those decisions. You can also set the game up to have a human manager control both teams. So like if I go here to the Yankees, you'll see that I've got it set for an AI manager to control the Yankees. And again, it's not going to make the in-game decisions, but it's going to make the roster management type of decisions, like um, when to bring in the relief pitchers and pinch hitters and stuff like that. But it's not going to make in-game decisions like sack bunts and that sort of thing. But I have a good game that'll make those decisions. You can turn this off and you can make all the decisions for both teams. So if you want to play the human, if you want to have full control over everything that happens for both teams, you can do that as well. Just uncheck that button. There's like a screen outside. This is in game. So there's a screen when you set up your project that you can tell, which teams control, which teams are human controlled and which teams are AI controlled. So I thought it would be fun to do a project where I'm managing the Braves. I'm a Braves fan, and '96 Braves are my all-time favorite team because I'm a Smoltz fan, and that was his Cy Young year. And also, it was just a horrible year for the Braves because they got off to a 2-0 lead, and I really thought they were going to win the World Series, and then they proceeded to lose the next four and lose to the evil Empire. And I was in college at the time, and a lot of my friends were. I was in Chattanooga, Tennessee, but a lot of my friends were from up north, and I was talking a lot of noise after those first two games, and they had the last laugh. So, hey, Cutter Historical, how you doing? Um, it looks very good. It has a very clean, crisp presentation. I too play PC replay baseball a lot, and this is there with that, in my opinion, as far as presentation goes and gameplay. So, also, there's a new logo for the Game Pulse, which is the PC version of Payoff Pitch. Um, so you guys can put in the comments what you think. Dana does watch these videos, the game developer. So feel free to put things in the comments there that you would like for him to know. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump into it because I'm testing and Dana watches these. So I don't want to take up too much of his time, and I want to just show him some of the gameplay. So again, just using board game companion mode where I'm putting in the outcomes. And if you want to hear the entire background and setup, you guys can start from the beginning of the video. Using season ticket baseball and putting in the outcome. So I wrote a 379, and that is going to be a grounder to first or a grounder out to third. So it's really nice. So this is, if you've watched any of my other videos, you would see how this board game companion used to work, which he just this is a new thing that he's put in here toward as we went to beta. Previously, it wasn't originally designed to be a board game companion. It was more designed to, hello, Sports Time Machine. It was originally designed to be more of just for you to put your box scores in or your score sheets in, but now it's a full-fledged kind of board game companion, and now it's got keyboard shortcuts and it feels a whole lot more like you're entering. So like I said, this is a ground out to third, so you just click there and you click your out, and it's just you click G5 for a ground out to third, just like you were doing real scorekeeping. So that's really cool. Also, that screen that you saw pop up and disappear, I have this in my game options. I have this button checked right here. So Dana, this is thing number one. I was not number one, but this is on the list of things I told you about in my Discord message. Is this still says turns off end play, but now it's that continue button. So you might want to change that verbiage right there. But the reason, if you uncheck this box, that stays up there until you click continue. So I'm just showing everybody. So Girardi, and also in this mode, these stats are for this specific project. So this is game 3. The Yankees and the Braves are tied at 1 game apiece. So 266 in season ticket baseball, and that is going to be a 5-3. So out G5. And so now, because I've unchecked that quick play or auto play, I think this box stays up here. So I prefer to have it off. So I'm going to uncheck this button. I'm going to actually check this button because I like it to auto advance. I don't like to have to click the continue button there. Now, one thing that I did tell you about, Dana, is that works beautifully, except for the last out of the half inning. So whenever we get this last out number 3 here, probably gonna have to check that box again, even though the box is checked. All right, so the pitcher, 147, and that is gonna be a fly out to left field. So you just click your out, F9, and complete the play. And it shows, one thing Dana put in is this, this is more narrative driven now. So it used to just kind of pop up and then it would slide over here to the plays. But now I play pretty fast. But for those who like to really read the names and everything, you can see that it says David, it's player specific. So David Cohn flies out to right field. Andrew Jones makes the catch. So that's a nice little touch for those who enjoy that. All right, so here we go. Bottom of the second, we got Fred McGriff. First at bat today, hitting 111 in the project. And we rolled a 482 against the righty, and that's going to be a single in the left field. So with a hit, you just type a 1 for a single, and you can click all these things too if you prefer to use the mouse. And we got a 469 against the righty, and that's going to be a fly out to center. So out F8, and you can see this goes really quick and it's very nice. I love how it is. For the most of these, you're putting in the notations that you would put in on a score sheet if you were taking score. You would, he flew out to center, so on your score sheet that would be F8. So I just type out and then F8, and it works. 284 against a righty, and it's a fly out to right field. So just to show you, you can click. You can come here and click out and then fly out if you prefer to use the mouse, which I'm against. I feel keyboard shortcuts are much faster, but that's user preference on that. Okay. All right, 2 outs. Cone to Jones. Jones is hitting 250 in the project. And I wrote a 532. And again, board game companion mode. So in season ticket baseball, on the 5, you have to find that fielder's card and look up his individual defense. So this is where a board game companion comes in really handy. Is I can find 532 is the first baseman. So seats the fielder, just find his card and look up what 532 is on it. And I'm sure that's a ground out to first. Yeah, it's a 3 unassisted. So out G3. All right, so we're done with 2, and we're going to the top of the 3rd inning. And we got a 528 on Javi Lopez's car, a 28. That sounds like it might be like a pass ball or something, and we'll end up re-rolling. That is a pass ball on season ticket, so I'm going to re-roll for that. 356 is a single to first. And using the auto manager system for season ticket, that tells me to try to steal here. So let me roll for the lead. See if Tim Raines can get the lead. So Dana, if you're watching this, one of the things I was telling you about is the runner list right here. It comes in. I missed that runners list because I like to be able to see instead of having to mouse over and see who's on first. It was nice when it was over here. So let me see if Tim Raines can get the lead. He's got a steal of 1 against a hold of 8, so I've got to get 17 on these 2D10. And he does not get the good lead, so Jeter's going to swing away. 527. I'm thinking that's a pass ball on Lopez's card, which will be good because then you guys will get to see how to put it in a pass ball. That's actually a walk. So I have made a recommendation to Dana. The walks is under the hit menu, which the first time I did this, it took me a while to figure out that's where it was. So you have to click hit and then 5 for walk. Or again, you can click on these if you prefer to click. All right, so Jeter reaches, and it looks like the Yankees are cooking up something again. You can see they're already out to an early 2-0 lead. 149 is a double to center field, and the runner on first can try to advance. So let me check Jeter's speed against Caesar center fielder's arm because I am using the autoplay system provided by Clay. So he's going to hold there with a double because Grissom had a good arm. So we do a hit, and that's a 2 for a double. And all runners advance 2 bases. And it gives you the little narrative here. Bernie Williams, line shot off the wall, standing double. Dana, if you watch this, not important to me, but I do think some guys might like to be able to put the actual fielder in who fielded the ball. So in my game on my tabletop, the center fielder fielded it, but here it's showing the left fielder fielded it. So you can do with that what you want. I guess you guys can put in the comments if that's important to you to have the actual fielder. Now it does matter if like he threw out or something, and that does come up, and you can put that in. So. All right, I'm gonna bring the infield in because the Braves are already down early, and I wrote a 375, and that is going to be a single to right field with Bernie Williams. Let's see if if he wants to test Andrew Jones' arm. Andrew Jones' arm is a 7. I doubt that Bernie Williams has a higher using the auto manager. I doubt he has an 8 or 9 for run. That would be. He does have a 7, but and it's higher. The D20 is higher, so he doesn't fit either. So we're going to do a hit, a single, runner on second advances one base. Dana, I, if one of the recommendations I have for this is I find myself wanting to, instead of clicking the 3 or the 4, since he got one base, I want to click 1, and if he gets 2 bases, I want to click 2. Um, I find myself just defaulting it out. It seems a little more natural. This is fine too, but just a recommendation if for you to do with what you want. All right, so now we got Charlie Hayes. He's the one who drove in the 2 runs in the second inning with a double. So we got a 6-10, and since the Yankees are away, it's going to stay at 6-10, and that's a strikeout. So out, okay, and it's just that fast to enter in your results. All right, I'm still keeping the infield back here. Strawberry, 418, and that's a walk. And the bases are loaded for Mario Duncan. And I've still got the infield in. 402. And that would be a 4-3 double play, but I said the infielder is in, and I do believe in season ticket baseball, a 4-3 double play just gets converted to with the bases loaded. That makes it a little more difficult here. And it's easy to find here in season ticket baseball, but not with not while streaming, because I usually have to find this pretty quickly. So we're just going to say he gets them out at home. It's just a bit of test entering this. So we're going to click out here, and this is actually a fielder's choice, and we're going to say a 5-2. So Dana, if you're watching, you might need to add a few more choices here because this was actually a 4-2. But the only option I have is the 5-2 because it was the second baseman who went home with it instead of the third baseman. So this should be there should be the option to hit a 4-2. I'm assuming a 1-2, a 2 unassisted. All those a 1-2. Thank you, Dana, for undertaking this because I know there are just it's a can of worms to kind of go down and code in every single possibility. So I'm going to put in 5-2 here. I would be completely fine with just something generic of runner out at home. So you don't have to code in all of that stuff. But that is my recommendation there, that there probably needs to be something to address some more potential outs. All right, 2 outs. Infield back now, 358. Is a fly out to first base. Oops. And it's actually a pop out is what you got to put in here. So P3 and then complete the play. All right, Jeff Blauser. I'm probably just going to play one more inning here, and then I might come back on and do something once the game is over to try to show the stats or something. I don't know if I'll even do that because this is more meant for testing than anything else. All right, we got a 483. I just wanted to give Dana a look at some of the pieces I was telling him about. So 483 is a fly out to center field. Get the pitcher up. 229. 429, and his eye is a 3. And that's a fly out to first baseman. Alt P3. And I think I accidentally hit the catcher, but that's okay. All right. If you do want to undo, just so everybody can see that, or if you even want to check it, so you can go into the box score and you can click play results. And nope, I got it. Pop out to the first baseman here. All right, so I'm going to stop the stream there. Didn't have a ton of time today, but I just wanted to get on and show Dana a couple of these little things. Um, One thing that I want to show you, Dana, real quick while I'm here is you can, and you had mentioned in the documentation that this is not supposed to happen. So in the visual, this autoplay menu, if you click it, it brings this up, and it seems like you can autoplay like a half inning. But every time, and I tested this on a game from the very beginning. So let's do another half inning. I tested this on a game from the very beginning, like another game from the very beginning, and no one ever scored. Like it went, and I don't know how they ever got outs, but it went 10 innings and it was 0-0. And there were no hits, and each team had an error. And I think that's probably because, as you mentioned, um, it uses kind of blank, this mode uses blank payoff pitch cards. So that's probably why. Now, I just don't know how they ever got an out, but um, I think that's probably why that happened. I think your intention is to not have this. So I want to end board game companion mode. I'm going to try to test it in another stream for the different modes that you do want this in. But I think that's a bug. I don't think you want that uh, appearing based on what you said in the documentation. So let me go back and turn that off. Anything else that I could show you here that I sent you in my Teams, or not my Teams, my Discord chat? Let me look in my notes and see anything that I can show you. I do love the dark green mode. I talked about that just so everybody can see the different themes. So this is dark green. I think right now the default is dark mode, and that's fine too. There's a light theme. Dana said he doesn't love this one and is still working on it. It does seem a little contrasty, if that's a term. What other themes are there? Whoops. This dirt theme, I might give that a try, representing like a baseball. I might give that a try for a little bit because I kind of like that one as well. So I do love the themes. I told you about the game options. I told you about the auto advance feature working for the first two outs. I told you about missing the runners list, or I showed you that. Um, Anything else? The keypad entry. It would be nice to use my keyboard has a 9 key built in, and I can't use it when I click enter here and then I click out. And I say it's a pop out to the second baseman. I can't use the 2 on my 9 key over here. Just a small thing. I would like that. As I've played more games, I've got used to using the number row at the top, so it's not that big of a deal. But I did at least want to show you what I meant by that. Um, One thing I don't know, Dana. I think I put this in the notes, but to me, just the fewer clicks, the better. So instead of clicking enter here and then clicking out, what are the thoughts on, and just a recommendation I have of something like just clicking out from this screen? Um, But now, if I click the O, it brings up my keyboard shortcut for game options over here. So just something to me. Oops, I don't want to do that. Leave without saving. Let me go back to the game. Resume game. I don't know. It's not too bad to click enter and then click go from here. But anything to reduce clicks, to me, the better. Um, I did test. So in the previous version of board game entry, if you had this set to auto still, and if you had this button checked and you had these checked, it was still trying to do the auto sack and the auto steals, and that's been turned off now. So I did test that, and that seems to be working or not working as expected. So that's good. Wanted to let you know, Dana, that I did test that, so that those modes aren't confused. Um, I told you about being able to sim, and I already showed you some screenshots on not being able to get the runner on third out. Um, so I think what I'm going to do is just show a couple other things here. Um, for anybody who might be watching. So this is the board game companion mode. So I set up a new project. You can click new project here. And if you want to use your card and dice game and just use this product as a board game companion, you can set that up here. So let me just type in board game companion test 2 and click the board game companion mode. You can select a season. This is extremely generous. You don't have to actually own the payoff pitch season to do it. Now, I do think if you do own the payoff pitch season, like the digital season, and you can see in testing we got access to several seasons. But I was doing, if you watch the beginning of this video, and I was doing 1996, which is not one of the testing seasons, but I could still do a project with it, and it's very generous. I wanted to show you this, Dana, what I was talking about. So if I click 2025 and I choose to do the World Series, and then I click create project, nothing happens. So probably because I don't know that it's maybe not Digi Dugout. Baseball Reference might not have all that up yet or something. I don't know, but I wanted to let you know that doesn't work. But that's the only one I've found, because you can see I was able to successfully set up the 1996 um, World Series board game companion test. So that worked fine. And I was talking earlier in my stream, if you're here and watching this, or you watch this whole stream, from here you can control your teams. So I can click on the Yankees and I can change the primary colors if I wanted to and change their names. You can edit the schedule, which is nice. This is newly entered, but let's say you can see this went 6 games. Let's say in my replay, this goes 7 games, so I can add that extra game. Or let's say that it ends in 5, I can delete that game. So that's kind of cool as well. I haven't actually tested that yet, but I hope to do that soon. And then here you can see, it keeps all of your stats and your standings for your project and your leaderboard for that, for just that project. So that's pretty cool. Um, so yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a stream there. Thanks anyone who watches this, and Dana, if you watch this, which I believe you do watch these. Um, Board game companion mode is incredibly improved, and it's a lot of fun. And thanks for putting this in here. I know it wasn't a part of your original intention to put it in, but thank you for doing that. I hope the users in the community will take advantage of it. Um, I know I will be. So I'm sure others will be as well, because a lot of people use other products for board game companions. So, all right, guys, hope you have a good evening. Bye.